Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Innovator se Baat. And today we have founder of one of our agri-tech startup, Farmology, Mr. Anup Ganguly is here with us. Hello, sir.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I would like you to please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello once again, everyone. My name is Anup Ganguly, and I am the founder and CEO of Farmology. Background-wise, I'm an engineer and post that MBA in marketing and international business. Then worked a few years in the corporate and the startup ecosystem before starting up on my own. And yeah, agriculture happened because I come from agriculture background. My father happens to be a first generation uh, entrepreneur himself in the agri domain. And that is where the thought of exploring it further came to my mind using the knowledge of his experience to drive things forward. Not exactly starting from zero. So that is how I decided to venture on this path, take this route, both from an impact and business perspective, because agriculture in itself is a huge opportunity which is yet to be tapped to its true potential, unlike other industries which are actually working in India right now, growing in India right now. Agriculture still needs to have some a sweet spot where more entrepreneurs and founders need to dig really deep to understand what's going on and how to actually make the most out of it, create that impact, and also run a successful business around it. Yeah. So that's the short, brief intro of how Farmology happened and about myself.
Okay, so you described the background of creating this startup, but now I would like you to explain us what is Farmology exactly? What does it do? How does it help people?
Uh, so going back almost 10 years now, when I actually decided to get into this particular sector in the agri segment, uh, the first 1.5 years were deep research on the field, speaking to stakeholders, primarily farmers, thousands of them. I spoke personally to roughly about 2,000 farmers across the state of West Bengal, some parts of UP as well, to understand what the real problem is. And although there are a bunch of problems, we narrowed it down to a farmer level issue, which is related to farming, not post harvest, but pre harvest. So that is where our expertise also lies. So we thought that uh, where an actual produce is getting, you know, kind of manufactured from the soil, we should go there and start solving those problems which a farmer faces on a day-to-day basis. And that is where the foundation of farmology came into picture. So farming and technology combines and gave birth to this term called farmology, where we wanted to empower farmers with not just agri inputs, which is one of our key verticals in the business, but also technology, because there was a lot of gray area when we spoke and did our research on the field, where farmers were actually facing a lot of problems and issues, whether it's about how to grow their crop properly, what is the crop treatment which is needed, what are the organic alternatives, even if there is one, because people were not really aware at that point of time back in 2017. And over the last 8 years now, I saw a very good shift uh, in the farmer's psychology that they should adopt more organic solutions, more biological solutions over traditional chemical inputs. So farmology is mainly, to put it shortly, it's a combination of new age organic fertilizers and pesticides, which are derived from minerals, botanicals, microbials, multiple subdomains. and an amalgamation with technology, which closes this information barrier where farmers face the most amount of problem because they are dependent on these stakeholders like agri retailers who are selling the products to farmers on a day-to-day basis because a farmer as a customer they actually go to them for a solution. For example, if I say plainly, they'll say भैया मेरे को ये प्रॉब्लम हो गया है, ये ठीक से ग्रो नहीं कर रहा है या पौधा मर जा रहा है या whatever the reason be, just give me a solution. They're not really looking for a product. They're looking for a solution. And that is where they have very limited options because of this physical, intervention of retailers. And, they have maybe two or three retailers now who जाते हैं and ask for a solution. Apart from that, there was nothing before and it is still the case in many states right now. So we thought that on one hand we have the solution in the form of the products which we have developed, and on the other hand we have the technology part which helps farmers to connect with us directly so that we can also help them without physically being present there, and they have the option to choose what they want to do rather than pushing them or narrowing their options. These are the three options, you choose whatever you like, but those are the three, but there are n number of options available. So that is how that blend is what we have been chasing because a marketplace and things like that we knew will not work back in the day, still doesn't work. There are multiple examples of that, and we wanted the farmers to have a very concrete faith on us so that we are there not just with advice but also an actionable solution with us to help them solve the problem. So that is like the crux of farmology. Once we dive deep about what exactly those things are, this is what actually is easy to understand for all kinds of audiences. So yeah.
Okay, so you told us that making that trust on farmers and actually giving the solution rather than the product, selling your product. Do you think this was the biggest challenge, or was there something else? What was the biggest operational challenge in Farmology, from pilot to scalable platforms or somewhere?
So when it comes to farmers or any consumer uh, in India, leaving consumer goods apart because they are not looking at long-term solutions. Here, it's related to soil. There is a lot of science involved. You can't really change, just like a human body, you can't change the plant food or the soil composition every now and then by applying different things in different times. You will not get the desired result.
Hmm.
It has to be consistent, especially in the case of organic. And chemicals, what they do is mainly it's like a steroid for humans, which forces a plant or a crop to grow in a certain way, reach saturation, but it kind of drains the organic capacity of soil or the plant to, fight against diseases or pests or, stress, which is both biotic, abiotic, a little technical on those lines. But let's say if it didn't rain when it was supposed to, that creates a stress. If the plant is strong from within, then it can survive that. But if it's not, it dies. The same happens when it rains excessively. Another kind of stress happens. So those are the things which were there way before the chemical use was not this rampant. Now it is very fragile, and with climate change and all, we saw things going from bad to worse. Because even if you are doing something good, it will take time in the agriculture segment or in the farming segment. So operationally, if you ask, our initial days were talking to farmers, develop a product based on the problems they describe, and do a small pilot in multiple areas to understand what is going on and get the results, and then see what kind of demand comes from the farming ecosystem. And that is how we, went to the grassroots where the actual consumers exist, spoke to them, ran multiple campaigns, training campaigns, farmer meetings, spoke to their address their problems, told them how going organic, or actually, switching a little bit, if not 100%, will actually help them in terms of long-term sustainability. So those farmers were few in the beginning. Maybe if we talk to 100 farmers, only 10 will say, "Okay, I'm ready to do a small pilot." But now we are at a stage where, in the state of West Bengal, we were among the first few companies, if not in the startup ecosystem, but overall, whoever is working in this agri inputs domain, to promote organic solutions. The technology came later, so that was like a need of the hour, because after successfully, positioning a few products in the farmer's crop life cycle, which started showing results after a year or so, we saw that still there are a lot of gaps, especially because of the lack of information. And that is where we started thinking of how to integrate technology, because that was the only way you can directly get connected to farmers. Now there are multiple channels. Android app is there, WhatsApp bots are there. But back in the day, nothing was there apart from a phone call or an SMS. So we started with that. We did a pilot, and 2020 or so, 2021, we started actually working on an app to help farmers more directly in a more personalized way, so that they have a different source of support rather than just what they were having before, like these physical outlets where they used to go and buy products. So now they had a technology solution as well, which anytime they open the app and can talk to us in any way they can. So that is where we found a fit, which has been working. I won't say it's a growing like a typical startup playbook, but yes, farmers are ready to adopt. Maturity has reached a point where if you launch an app and actually start promoting it, people will check it out. Farmers would like to see what is there in the tech segment which can actually help them. So that is where a blend of these two things, where you have a tangible product which is consumed on the field, and on the other hand, you have a technological solution where in the form of an Android app, uh, which can advise, and then you go and buy certain things, certain products which we are recommending. Even if we are not, there are certain technical terms we say, if you don't want this, you take this, but don't go running after us, whatever someone tells you to. So that makes it more unbiased, and the freedom of choice is there. So, and that is how trust is built, to be honest. So that is what I would say has worked in our favor, and that is how we have been, surviving for so long. And we are looking at good growth rate for the last uh, 3 financial years. Decent growth rate. I won't say 3x, 4x, but 2x is what we have been able to do, and looking forward to that. Right.
Okay, so as you told us that farmers are accessing your app, they are using it, you are giving them suggestions, they are applying it. I wanted to know how much difficult or how does the Farmology app addresses the challenge of low digital literacy among small or medium farmers? Because most of the farmers we have are of old age who have been doing this farming from a long, long time. Are they accessible or are they adaptable to your app, or what kind of measures did you guys do to help them?
So the initial thing was that we launched the app and see how it is performing. So what we saw at that point of time was progressive farmers, between the age of 20 to 45 and all, were very interested in trying it out. Now, India has a problem in terms of, ordering online for all things. People have that trust issue, irrespective of, if it's a farmer or not. Even if you go to a smaller town right now, people will order on a cash on delivery over, a digital payment or electronic payment, whether it's through a card or UPI. People will have that trust issue that if we pay and it did not arrive, then our money is gone. So that is a problem which actually blocks them to actually put full faith on one app or any digital service. What we have seen is progressive farmers is what we are targeting right now because it's a herd mentality among the farmer community as well. So we are not targeting for them to even try out new solutions, not just an app, but also products. And convincing them is a very tough job. So instead of that, we focused mainly on progressive middle-aged farmers who have who come into the category of medium or semi-medium size of farmers, not the small and marginal. The small and marginals will not be interested because they themselves are having a financial crunch, but they follow that particular farmer in that area. Suppose there is a block where there are about 15, 20 villages. There will be, 4 or 5 people who the rest of the farmers follow, even without them knowing. They'll ask what they're doing and then try to find out what they're doing and apply that on their farms as well. So it is different in different geographies. So West Bengal, it's a little different than UP. West Bengal, the digital literacy is relatively higher compared to UP. But again, adoption in terms of actually consuming the content of the app or taking advice is higher in UP, those people who actually use it compared to West Bengal. But yes, we are seeing a change. It's slow, but considering we have been here for a while now, that kind of trust building exercise has been going on for the last 6 years since we started, and that has worked in our favor. So it's again, it's a long-term game when it comes to agriculture. If someone thinks that I'll build a company in 2, 3 years and then take an exit or get acquired, not going to happen. This is not the way it will work. It You have to build that kind of brand or trust among your actual consumers, customers, and then start scaling at a scale where you think that it is a success. But again, then there are fresh sets of challenges in every stage. But yes, agriculture is something, and based on what we have been noticing, uh, having a product or a service which is unique to you, that is, which creates differentiation and not existing in the market has been our ideology from the beginning, rather than going on a marketplace model and just being a trader in the middle. So that has worked in our favor.
Okay, so as you said, there were challenges across states, different challenges across different states. So, is there any facility that different state will have different data-driven decisions during the pre-harvest stage or guidance to the farmers, or is it common and it is how people take it up as they want to?
So state-wise, if you look at it across the country, the fundamental thought process of farmers is the same. It's the crop which changes and maybe the mentality of the farmers which
Okay.
changes. But the core thinking is the same. I've spoken to farmers in West Bengal, UP, Odisha, Maharashtra, and it's no different compared to if it's all the same in India. The
Okay.
difference is in terms of adoption,
Hmm.
how quickly they adopt. When it comes to state-wise or government level interventions to support give advice. Again, it's generic in terms of, let's say it's a district and or a couple of districts, and that part will give very common or a general answer that you should do this, you should do that. But a more personalized approach is what farmers are looking for. Everything is unique. Every farmer will have their own viewpoints, and although these kind of facilities from government exist, but the reason uh, farmers are still not able to adopt is because it has a loophole. You can't give general advice because
Hmm.
it will have its own agroclimatic condition, soil structure. the kind of crops which are grown, the kind of treatments which a farmer does on the crop, if even if it's the same crop. So that is where the difference comes. So you have to go on a very personal level to get these things done. From these farmers who are trying to use it, and that is where education in terms of marketing, in terms of training, in terms of campaigns is needed.
Okay.
So we have seen a lot of support from the central government and all in terms of making the farmers aware. There are multiple programs where we have been supported by trying to do a lot of things in the rural landscape. And those things are needed, actually needed, because ultimately you have 200 subsectors in the agriculture segment, subdomains. And you need a consortium of companies or startups working together to solve for maybe a crop or a geography end to end. If that happens, then it becomes a very strong proposition for farmers in terms of convenience, in terms of productivity, cost, etc. And it's a sustainable business model as well, where you're supporting each other, you're supporting the next company which is in this ecosystem, and you're supporting the supply chain. So there are n number of things which can be done. Our focus is mainly on the farmer side to grow sustainably, to get the best output for what they spend, and technology and the product which we have developed so far can actually do that. Now,
Okay, so after hearing all of this, uh, although you have told us that your vision with this company is for a long term, you don't want to build a product and exit for after 3 years or get acquired or something. You want to build something actually for the farmers that is actually going to help farmers. So I want to know what is your long term vision or just one goal that it is to be achieved, and I will be totally satisfied by building this thing.
so based on what we are seeing right now is to cutting it down to the vision, what we see is a farmer actually using and his smartphone to get all the agronomy advice he needs, uh, order whatever service or products he wants, just the way an urban customer does it. It should be that seamless where technology is playing a key role for farmers to understand their problems and give a solution, give a product, and just the way typical urban customer problems are solved these days with a plethora of apps on a day-to-day basis on a household level or travel or etc. That should be there for a farmer is what the ultimate vision is. Making technology accessible, making it easier for farmers to switch from chemical or a traditional based farming methodologies to a more hybrid or sustainable approach where chemical application is to the minimal, the farmer gets the best yield, best productivity, best price. Prices and all may not be in anyone's hand. A lot of government interventions are needed there, but farmers should be able to make quick decisions कि आज मैं अगर पैडी कर रहा हूँ धान की खेती कर रहा हूँ या गेहूं की कर रहा हूँ तो when I'm not getting the return out of it I should not do it. I should switch to a crop which actually gives us the return. So that risk factor which is in their mind कि अच्छा मैं कर तो लूंगा बेचेगा कैसे कोई, who will buy it, how will I make money. So that transparency, once it comes into the picture, that is where a farmer feels comfortable. There is a lot of fear right now. And if you look at those farmers who are doing it generation by generation, they do it just to honor their ancestors. कि okay, this is ये मेरे खेत है, let's say 5 एकड़ खेत है और मेरे परदादा का खेत है, मुझे हर साल इसमें यही करना है, खेती करनी है और यही करना है. So they'll not diverge from their choice of crops. And that is where it becomes very difficult nowadays to actually get some income. Whereas you'll see a lot of technocrats are actually leaving their jobs, buying lands and growing multiple exotic fruits and vegetables, because they understand that it's a tax-free income, first of all, and they're using all the knowledge and education which they have to make the most out of it. Whereas a farmer has way more experience to actually do the farming process, practical experience, uh, and they can do it better if they get the technology mindset also in place. So that is where we see, in terms of the vision which we have, to automate the entire farming process and making it easier for farmers to adopt and use technology and sustainable solutions. That is like the long term plan, us even more, because once we start buying from them, that becomes a very fail safe option, where they know that okay, we are using their products, using their advice, now they're buying from us as well. So it's a fixed income which can be you know done in going ahead, value addition and all that. So that those things will get added in the future on top of the core layer, and that also makes life for the consumer who will be targeted after that, in terms of sustainability, in terms of chemical residue free, because those things are also coming up very strongly right now because of these excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. So yeah, that's like the long term plan, making it uh, upgrading the next generation of farmers, and actually, as our motto says, creating farmers of the future. You're on mute, Himanshi.
Okay, so it's a very inspiring thing to see a founder having a clear vision and actually not focusing on the financial part, but focusing on how to actually grow the product and grow the people with it. So we are happy to have
Right.
you in our incubation center, and I hope we are able to provide all the facilities that you need, and we will be happy to assist you in any further help that we can do.
Definitely, I would like to thank SIIC a lot, because uh, that is where we got incubated back in 2020, 21. And that is actually where the core idea of Farmology, as I mentioned before, came into existence just before that. So um, many thanks and lots of gratitude from us and the entire team, because without SIS's support, all this would not have been possible. Uh, we have got multiple recognitions after the incubation happened, from SIIC, multiple fund support, networking supports, mentors, lots of things. So more than happy with what SIC has been doing. I've been also suggesting fellow founders or aspiring founders to apply to SIIC for incubation, because we have seen the results. So far, the best incubator. I have been to a couple others as well, but haven't seen the kind of response or support compared to what SIIC has given us.
Yeah, that's a cumulative growth. You grow with us, we grow with you. So it is great to
Yeah,
have this conversation with you.
yeah.
And I wish all the successes to you and your team. And thank you for
Thank you. Thank you
being
so
on this
much.
podcast today.